Hello people, thank you for tuning into my video. I do apologise that you've had to wait quite so long for this. I did want to have it up and running quite a little while ago, but you know, best laid plans. It is exactly 339 days and 12 hours and 29 minutes until Scotland's historic vote on independence. And this series of videos is aimed at helping undecideds and just anybody really that wants to know more about it, because everybody that I've talked to feels like they don't know enough about this, and I want to help you with that. So over the coming months I'll be posting a series of videos on different things to do with independence, and hopefully I'll be able to answer some of your or all of your questions. I do invite feedback, so you know, comments below on the video on YouTube would be great, and you know, you'll find my links for Twitter and Facebook if you want to get in touch with me that way. So without further ado, let's begin. So my first video, we're going to talk about the history of the Union and exactly what has brought us to this point. Now, most of you will remember from school that Scotland and England, the Act of the Union was signed in 1707. We'd had a kind of monarchy. There'd been a there'd been a shared monarchy since 1603 as a result of, you know, intermarriage and all that inbreeding that goes on among the royal family. And the original Act of the Union, there's lots of anecdotes about it, and there's lots of kind of theories about it. The most popular and prevalent one that I grew up hearing was that we were sold we were sold to the English crown, that the wealthy landowners in Scotland, the wealthy people in Scotland sold us. Having done research, I'm not surprised, I'm kind of happy to be able to debunk that particular myth. If anything, it was the exact opposite reason. We weren't sold, we were bought. Because we were broke. Scotland was broke as a result of an unsuccessful venture in the 17th century to set up its own colony, and this was the Darien venture. And this was the brainchild of a man called William Paterson, who had made his name as one of the founders of the Bank of England, and he had this idea that he would turn Scotland into a major trading partner for countries across the world. And he had this idea of setting up a trading colony in Panama, in a place called Darien. If you don't know about the Panama Canal, it's that bit that connects South America and North America. It's that little thin branch, and what it allows is it allows a direct route to Asia, as opposed to having to go around the Horn of Africa, which was dangerous and unreliable. So Scotland raised the money itself. It put a fifth of its own wealth into this venture. The total wealth of the country, a fifth of this went towards this, and well, to be honest, it was a disaster. Nobody had been there, only him and only William Paterson and the ship's captain, the leader of the expedition, had been there. They took the wrong type of stuff for trading, wools and other materials that were basically just useless to the Indians that lived over there because of the constant heat. Half the colony was wiped out by disease, and the conquistadors, the Spaniards who'd colonised much of South America, weren't exactly thrilled to see the Scots turn up and plant a flag. And so pretty much by the end of this venture started in 1698 and rolled right through to 1699, and by the end of 1699 it was considered a failure, and it was abandoned. The colony was finally abandoned in March 1700, and Scotland was broke by this point. England as well was quite overstretched as a result of its wars in Europe, and in an attempt to expand its empire, it had overstretched itself. And so, if anything, really, it was a marriage of convenience. Both parties got into it because England wanted to make sure Scotland didn't expand and didn't become a competitor, a trade competitor, and Scotland wanted the benefit of England's connections and its wealth to help bail out. And so a marriage was born, and it's that analogy that I want to go forward with. I do believe, and I do, studying, reading the history and whatnot, reading all the history about the Act of the Union, I do believe that it was a marriage of convenience. And I believe that it's run its course. We've got everything out of it that we can. The banking crisis in 2008 proved that. That was as a result of Westminster and their just fat cat, pigs at the trough economic policies, and we need better for Scotland than that, and we want better for Scotland than that. And with all of yous, there's a lot of yous that say, oh, I just think that we should just stay and together. And I've yet to be given a convincing argument why. Of all the people that I've met that are opposed to independence, nobody's given me a convincing argument as to why we need to stay together, why it's important that we stay together. Yeah, we've got a shared history, and we've got the monarchy, and we've got this complicated economic relationship. But as a relationship, the Act of the Union was formed as nothing more than a political relationship. I mean, the very fact that Scotland was allowed to keep its own law, it was allowed to keep its own education, and we have cultivated and nurtured our own national identity for over 300 years. And so why shouldn't we go out into the world and, put our best foot forward and, make a good fist of it? So I hope that, I want to keep these videos short because I realise that, YouTube audience these days, don't have, want videos, like bite-sized stuff. So I appreciate your time. Thank you for watching. I appreciate your time. Thank you for watching. I will be back next time with another video. If you have any comments, if you want more information about anything about the history of the Act of the Union, then I would recommend visiting the BBC's history sites, because that's where I got a lot of my information, and I've got to say they were quite good and they were quite informative. Find links below for Twitter and Facebook, and if you have any comments, feel free. Thank you.